Hey there! If you're a homeowner, especially here in the Katy area, you already know your roof is your home's first line of defense. But, when something goes wrong with it, it can spark one of the most stressful questions you'll have to deal with. And that's the question we're going to tackle together today, step by step.
So, picture this. A big Texas storm just blew through. The next morning, you go outside and you find a couple of shingles lying in your yard. What's that feeling you get? It's that sinking feeling in your stomach, right? That's your brain immediately trying to figure out the cost, the hassle, and all the worry that comes with it. It's a moment every single homeowner dreads.
And that feeling, it almost always leads to this one giant question. Can I just get away with a simple repair, or is this the sign that I need a whole new roof? Well, don't worry, we're going to break it all down with some really clear evidence to help you make the right call for your home.
Okay, so the very first step in this whole process, the first piece of the puzzle, is figuring out a key piece of evidence, your roof's age. Seriously, if you don't know how old your roof is, finding that out is the most important place to start.
Here in Texas, with our crazy weather, the sun, the storms, a standard asphalt shingle roof has a lifespan of, say, about 15 to 25 years. That's the benchmark. So if you don't know its age, that's your first mission.
Now here's a really simple rule of thumb that'll help you out. If your roof is pretty young, we're talking under 10 or 12 years old, any storm damage is usually just an isolated incident. It's localized. A targeted repair is almost always the smart, cost-effective choice. But once you start hitting that 15 to 20-year mark or even older, the entire system is just aging. That's when a full replacement often becomes the much smarter financial move because it saves you from a future of just constant, frustrating patch-ups.
And that right there brings us to the good news. A roof issue doesn't automatically mean you're in for a huge expense. Not at all. Let's look at the really clear signs that a simple, localized repair is all you're going to need to get your peace of mind back.
So here's what you want to look for. Is the damage stuck in just one small area, maybe where a tree limb fell? Do you just have a few missing shingles here and there? Can you trace that little water stand on your ceiling back to one specific spot? If the answer is yes, and the rest of your roof looks pretty good, a repair is very likely your best bet.
A perfect example of this is the flashing. That's the metal stuff you see around chimneys, vents, and skylights. Sometimes that can fail long before the shingles do. And the great news is, if the rest of your roof is still solid, just resealing or replacing that flashing is a really simple and effective repair.
But sometimes the clues, they point to a much bigger system-wide problem. And these are the signs that tell you, hey, a full replacement is actually the smarter and much safer long-term choice.
Okay, the first major red flag is something called granule loss. I want you to think of those little sandy, gravel-like bits on your shingles as your roof's sunscreen. They're what protect the shingle from the brutal UV rays of our Texas sun. So when they start coming off in big amounts, your roof is basically getting a sunburn. It's becoming vulnerable.
And here's exactly what to look for. Go outside and look up. Are you seeing bald spots on your shingles where that black asphalt layer is showing through? And then check your gutters, especially after a good rain. If you see piles of these tiny black granules in there, that's a crystal clear sign your roof's protective layer is literally washing away. And when you see this everywhere, it's not just one shingle failing, it means the whole roof is losing its shield.
All right, next up, I want you to look at the shingles themselves. How do they look? After years and years of baking in the Texas sun, they lose their flexibility. They start to deform. You'll actually see the edges start to curl up, or maybe you'll see little cracks, or even what looks like blisters popping up on the surface.
Now, the key here is how widespread is the problem. One or two messed up shingles, that's an easy fix. But when you start seeing that curling, cracking, or blistering across large sections of your roof, well, that's a pretty definite sign that the materials have just reached the end of their functional life. And maybe this whole scenario just feels familiar. A leak pops up, you call someone, you pay for a patch. A few months go by, and another leak starts. But this time, it's in a totally different spot. You feel like you're constantly putting Band-Aids on an old, tired system. And you know what? This cycle isn't just frustrating, it's expensive. You're throwing good money after bad, and you're doing it all while living with that constant worry of, okay, what's next? So let's pull all this evidence together and close the case, shall we? This isn't just about fixing a leak anymore. It's about making a really smart decision for your home's future and, maybe most importantly, for your own peace of mind.
When you look at it like this, you really start to see the true long-term picture. Chasing after all those little repairs can actually end up costing you more over 5 years than a one-time replacement. A new roof? It gives you a fixed cost, a full system warranty, but the real value, the real win, is right there on that bottom line. You get to trade in all that constant worry for lasting security.
And that's really the key takeaway here. Getting a new roof isn't just another bill to pay. It's a fundamental investment in your home's protection. It's what safeguards the actual structure, everything you want inside of it, and it buys you the freedom to just not worry every single time a storm cloud rolls in. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. What is your roof's real job? Is it just to keep the rain out for now? Or is its job to protect your family's single biggest investment and to protect your peace of mind? I think when you answer that for yourself, you'll know exactly what you need to do.